Welcome back, everyone. I can be gaming for episode 4 of our St. Louis Worldwide Rush start. So let's put it on play and see what we need to do this month. We need to fulfill St. Louis demand. We also need to build a hub in Atlanta. So Atlanta, if we build a hub right there, let's go ahead and hire a hub manager in Atlanta. Let's just see what it does. So Atlanta wants to go to Greenville, which it is, I believe. Wants to go to Columbus. I think we could do that, no problem. Atlanta, there we go. Columbus. Definitely a bus situation. Let's get a Gannett. How about that? Build a road. And we're going to need just a little bit more money. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. Atlanta also needs Nashville. So let's see. Is there something going on already? I feel like Nashville already had something going to Atlanta. It did. 340. Can we buy another vehicle? Not yet. But really, that should give me the 3. Yeah, it does. Okay. So St. Louis demand. Anywhere else they need to go that's close by? Tulsa is way down the road, but we could maybe do a St. Louis to Tulsa here. Tulsa. All right, let's just type it in and be easier. Tulsa. There we go. All right, so if we put a Gannett on that, there we go. That'll get it underway. Now Nashville, anything obvious? It wants to go to Phoenix. It's an indirect path. That's fine. Greenville itself wants to go to Toronto, direct path. It's having a hard time. Let's see. Maybe we can add a plane in there. It's got 37 customers it wants to ship to Toronto. Wow, that's really bad as far as planes. Okay, let's... Well, an Aramera is really not a whole lot better. Okay, we'll go Nimbus for now. We'll go 3. And then we can always upgrade them and drop one later. So then Orlando itself. Is it Jacksonville? Okay, Jacksonville has a hub. Jacksonville to Tampa, Charlotte. So it's struggling going to Charlotte for sure. And we could maybe buy another one, 718,000. A little bit pricey, but we could throw another one down here and see. Let's see what it does. And so we have a hub manager. I said I wasn't going to do that, but I think we'll do it on one hub, and I believe it was Nashville, was it not? I think it's Nashville that has... No, it's not Nashville. Was it Greenville? Maybe it's Atlanta. Yeah. Okay. So it's Atlanta that has a hub manager. So we'll have one of them have a hub manager just for the fun of it. So if we go back up to Chicago, let's put this on slow again. Really struggling getting to Toronto. So let's buy another vehicle, a 390. And then that pretty well kills my 79 going to Hamilton. Look at that. We got tons of airplanes rolling here. Can maybe speed that up and buy another airplane if we have to. The 340 takes 14. The 390, which is quite a bit more expensive, takes 19. And it is a little bit faster. So maybe we'll let our money build up and we'll grab a 390. As you can see, they're making pretty good money. Honestly, the 340 is doing almost as good, but this one right here is doing 418, so it's doing even better. Okay, so let it take that. And did I have a hub in Grand Rapids? I do. Okay, but Grand Rapids looks okay, honestly. Back to Chicago. Hamilton, was that the one I just added the plane to? Yes, it was. But we can add another one. And then we go to Toronto. Also, we have several airplanes kicking around. We'll have to go up another level by the looks of things, because that's why it wants the 4.4. But it'll be worth it because we're getting a lot of indirect traffic kind of cycling through to get to Toronto or Hamilton and probably beyond. So that's the end of our 390. So we flipped over the month. Let's see where we stand. Destination have changed. Okay, new events. Cities have grown. Wonderful. So build a hub in St. Cloud. Now that's kind of sucky because there's one rate in Minneapolis. I'm not sure that really makes sense to me. Like there's one rate here that's a hub. Why in the world would I build one rate next door? When it's just, I don't see the point of it. So St. Louis wants some more connections. It needs 4 more connections. It could do Charlotte. Let's see. St. Louis to Charlotte. 913 kilometers. We could do a 230 Nimbus. All right, we'll do that. Then St. Louis also wants to get to Berlin. That's like ridiculously far away though. What else is in my list? Minneapolis, Buffalo, Lafayette, Green Bay. Okay. So let's see which one of those. Lafayette, maybe? Okay, where's Lafayette? Maybe it's too far. Let's see. We'll go with the Antero, Ad City, Lafayette, 1700. Okay, that's way too far. It also said what? Buffalo. Okay, maybe Buffalo's doable. Let's see. So we'll get rid of Lafayette. We'll put in Buffalo. 1100. So we could do the 230 Nimbus. Probably what we should do. Rather than take, we could do a bus, honestly, but the bus is still going to have to cut through underneath the lake or above and back in. So we'll go. Actually, can we get something better even? Let's see. Can we do? Oh, we can go a 390. Let's do it. Okay, so St. Louis also wants to get to. Jumped off. Oh, come on. Would you just stay there? Wants to get to Green Bay or Minneapolis or Mississauga. So we could go St. Louis to Mississauga, maybe. That's 1,000. We could go a 340 Express. Let's do that. So that has us at 42 now. So we could go Lafayette, Buffalo, or Green Bay. I thought we did Buffalo, but okay, St. Louis to Green Bay. That's not that far, really. We could do maybe just a Nimbus on that. And then what else do they want? Minneapolis, Buffalo, Lafayette. I thought there was Buffalo, though. Let's see. Any Buffalo in here? Tulsa, Green Bay. So these red ones must be competitors. Green Bay, Mississauga. Okay. All right. Well, we'll do Buffalo again then. So St. Louis to Buffalo. 1,066. Let's go with the 390 transporter. And that'll give us a 44 or 44. Optimized vehicle profitability. I think we'll just leave that be for a bit and see how it shakes out. St. Louis is struggling getting the Rolla, honestly. Let's see, Rolla, what does it have? If I could get it to stay there long enough, I could click on it, would be nice. Okay, it's got a Hubbard, buy vehicle. Let's go with the Gannett. Where else St. Louis struggling to get to? Chicago. And it probably needs a few more buses on that. Let's buy. See, the Forker here can make even more money. Let's buy the Forker. Then also, what else St. Louis struggling with? Cedar Rapids. Okay, Cedar Rapids, not. It's got a few extra people. Let's just take a peek. Oh, it's actually an airline situation. Very nice. So if I want to upgrade just to the 340, it would be 1 million. Okay, that seems reasonable. Let's do that. There we go. Just upgraded that to 1 million. So I think that takes care of St. Louis. Let's look in on Chicago again. Chicago, Muskegon. Let's see. We have a number 2. Let's go with a Gannett. Then we click back. Chicago wants to go to St. Louis, which has a lot of buses running. Let's buy another forker. And in fact, let's bump these number 3s up to Gannett's. There we go. So we have all 4 and 5. And we might be able to just put this one to 5 as well. Yeah, let's do it. So I think that, yeah, that balances out our 5s for the month. We can't do any more. Ford Dodge. Does it have anything major? Phoenix. St. Louis is really struggling from Ford Dodge. We could buy another one. The 390 transport would be 4.2 million. I don't know if I'll make that much this month to be able to drop one down, but it'd be good because there's, I think they said 80 passengers waiting, so that's not great. All right, there we go. We're getting up a little bit, not quite enough. But I find adding a lot of hubs is a little bit tricky because you're trying to maximize everything. I know they want us to go St. Cloud, but I refuse that mission. It just didn't make sense. So Minneapolis, has tons of people kicking around here. Let's see, St. Cloud, for instance, +3. Okay, I can live with that. Mankato, though, is not the greatest. Mankato, we could buy, say, a Gannett. And who else is waiting for Dodge? Des Moines. Des Moines, we could buy Gannett there. And then Chicago is still struggling a little bit. Cedar Rapids is struggling. Cedar Rapids is way down there. Can we do that by bus? I mean, we probably could. Let's see. We did a forker where we don't have enough. There, we'll create a level 4 Gannett. We're up to 11 million. Let's just... Well, we could let this flip over. All right. So now for the new month, cities have grown, destinations changed. St. Louis is at 92%. Fort Dodge, indirect traffic problem. Fort Dodge did Des Moines. Let's see. Where's Des Moines in here? Right there. Okay. This must be a competitor. Oh, they're both me, actually. For some reason, they show up separately. I can't say I understand that, really, why they would. So let's highlight these. Let's put them up to a forker. And just go 4 forkers. How about that? Now, if we go back into Des Moines. St. Cloud. Fort Dodge is struggling getting to St. Cloud as well. So we could leave this guy highlighted. Okay, can't be a forker, but we could make him a Gannett, can we not? Yes, we can. We could put another one, another Gannett, and even another one, I think, makes sense. So Minneapolis, struggling to get to Des Moines. We got several Gannett's. Let's see, Gannett. All right, we added 2. Where else are they struggling to get to? St. Louis, they got an indirect path. Okay, Fort Dodge, once again. St. Cloud, it was struggling, but I think, we added buses there. Anything else? Des Moines, St. Louis. Okay, so it's a little bit... It's struggling getting to St. Louis. So let's see. It's really annoying that you got to hold that just long enough for this thing to stay. Okay, buy a vehicle. Let's go the 390s, 2 of them. That should help. Now, if we go back to Chicago, the Detroit is really struggling. And it's losing money. Why is it losing money? They're all losing money for some reason. Let's see. Is it too far for a bus? I wouldn't think it should be. 387 kilometers. Wow. What could be the problem? Let's go an airplane maybe and see if that helps it at all. If we went with the 390, be 4.482. Okay, so we'll click on that. We'll slow that down to play. During Rapids, does it have one? It does. To Columbus, that must be by airplane. I would assume it is anyways. By vehicle. Okay, we could go Nimbus here again. There. So then Nashville already had its own. Does it have its own guy? No, it's Atlanta that does. Okay. Phoenix. And then Nashville to Ottawa would like to be something. But right now it's going to Toronto. I don't own Toronto as far as I know. Yeah, someone else does. Okay, went too far. Now Greenville, Virginia Beach has a direct path. And it's making money. So we'll just throw another one down. Charlotte, do we have one? No, we don't. Charlotte. So Virginia Beach. Nashville's not the greatest. Let's say we could maybe buy another Nimbus here. Toss it on there. Then down here, was it Jacksonville? Yeah, Jacksonville. They want to go to Charlotte. They want to go to Miami and Tampa. Okay, Tampa's a bus, so that one at least is doable. So Jackson to Charlotte. We'll see here. Okay, let's upgrade these to 390 transporters. So that should make a decent difference. And then Jacksonville also wants to go to Miami. And we've got 340. We could go, do we max out at the 390? Okay, we'll go with the 340s, I guess. We'll go with 2 of them. Yeah, we're maxing out on vehicles, right? Not the greatest. Do we have a hub in Miami? Oh, we did. We did. So Jacksonville. It's struggling to get to Jacksonville here. Buy a vehicle. Well, if we make a little bit more money, we could buy 340, I guess. And then we could always buy another one because we have one left. All right. So we come back over the Nashville. Anything simple. Phoenix, Ottawa. Okay, Bowling Green. Seems to be struggling to get the Bowling Green. And we could buy a vehicle, a Gannett, and maybe an Antero. How about that? Anywhere else they're struggling to get to? Chicago, Tulsa, but that's an airplane. Phoenix, Ottawa. St. Louis, we do have a few buses on here. By vehicle, we could go with an Antero. And then back to Nashville. The biggest issue is Tulsa right now. 390 transporter. So we just need a little bit more money. We could probably buy... Well, we can't buy another one, actually. We could go with a Velocis 320. That's about all we can do. And if we get enough money, we can maybe buy another one. That way we can increase our income, which would be always good. There we go. Slow this down a bit. So Fort Dodge has an indirect traffic problem. Did it finally get that figured out? It was to Des Moines. Okay, so we did figure that out. That's good. Sioux Falls, St. Cloud, I believe was bus. Yeah, we'll just leave that be. What else? St. Louis. Has a direct path. And definitely has lots of planes running here. 340 we can't do, actually. We could do one of these 320s. And maybe another one if we get enough money. There's a lot of action going between St. Louis and Fort Dodge for whatever reason. Maybe indirect routes, that kind of thing. So that pretty well maxes us out for airplanes right there for the month, because really there's not a whole lot left over. So as far as company value, we're the highest by quite a bit. Operating profit, we're not necessarily we're sort of, but we're not at the same time. City shrunk. Oshawa shrunk. Okay. That's fine. I can deal with that. More connections to St. Louis. So St. Louis wants to go to Oshawa, Philadelphia, or Greenville. Okay, St. Louis. Let's see. St. Louis to Philadelphia, Oshawa. Let's see which one comes up first. Oshawa, actually. So let's go the 390. Okay, so then we could do St. Louis to Philly, Lafayette, or Greenville. Greenville's way over here. Lafayette's the other direction. Philly is over here at 1300. So maybe we could do another 390 to Philly. I kind of like the 390s actually. So St. Louis to Houston is also struggling. That's something we could do. It didn't ask for that, mind you, but did we do this already? Okay, we'll put one down just in case we didn't. St. Louis to Houston. That's 1,090. We could go 390 on that. There. So we got lots. St. Cloud, they're really not letting go, are they? They really want a hub there for whatever dumb reason. Minneapolis, hub sitting okay. Des Moines, a little busy, I will say. Let's see. Let's go to Centero and bump him up to a Gannett. Chicago, Chi-Town. Let's see. Going to Toronto, it's still got a little bit of overcrowding happening. Okay, maybe if we take these 340s and turn them into 390s. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Can we buy another vehicle? Okay, we can't. So that's about all we can do for that. Grand Rapids has a hub, I believe. And it's struggling getting to Columbus. So it's got 230s going on. Let's go with a 320. And let's go with another 320. That might help. I don't think we have any hubs in Canada as far as I know. Hamilton, Toronto, Oshawa doesn't have a hub. No. So we're mostly US centric at the moment. I wonder how Atlanta's doing. Just out of curiosity. Because we did give them a hub manager, but I'm not really sure they're doing a whole lot. They've got lots of buses running here to and fro. Okay, another month has flipped over. Fulfill St. Louis demand. Last month it was 92. So it really doesn't say what percentage you need to get that grant. It'd be kind of nice if it did. So build a hub in NASA. Okay, so that at least is something different. Let's go with that. So NASA wants to go to Freeport. Okay, Freeport's pretty close. So NASA to Freeport. Let's go one of these water taxis. The best one we have is the Petit Voyageur. Okay, we'll put two of them down. NASA wants to go to Key West and then also to Miami. So to Key West, we could probably do one of these things again. Put two water taxis, and then they want to go to Miami. which I'd say water taxi as well. Maybe the Little Explorer. Yeah, we'll go with the Little Explorer. And we'll put 3 of them down. So Miami itself wants to go to Havana, has a direct path. It's only 230 though. That's not an amazing vehicle. So we'll go with 390. We'll add that in. Should probably put that on play. So NASA, we should get that 329, 120. Potential to upgrade. This line right here should be able to go up to a Gannett. We'll do it. And Antero here should go up. We'll do that. This Antero here will also upgrade. And then the last one will be this one. There you go. We upgraded them all. Got our NASA hub. Up here, National Network. Last time we did 24,000. We need to hit 40,000 to hit Continental Network. I don't know if we're going to do enough to make that happen. So we do have a hub in Sioux Falls. Let's see. They want to go to Colorado Springs, which is a little bit far away. Sioux Falls, Colorado Springs. Let's see. If I type that in, Colorado Springs, we could go 340. How about that? We'll go with 340 Express. Now they are struggling getting to Minneapolis. See, we have buses on that one. Let's see. Maybe our buses are just not... Okay. So it's decent quality. We just need more of them, is what I'd say. So we got another one there. We speed this up a little bit. Minneapolis. See, it's at 55. That's a little bit better. We had another forker in there. That should take care of it pretty decent. Minneapolis now is relatively okay everywhere. Fort Dodge is still struggling with Sioux Falls. So if we collect on all of these and bump them all to... How about Forker? We'll slow that down slightly. Fort Dodge. Cedar Rapids. Okay, we're going to need to buy... Well, we don't have any more Forkers, so we'll buy a Gannett instead. Anywhere else it needs to get to? To Chicago. Okay, let's see. What do we have for airplanes? We could go with the 390. And we could maybe upgrade these to 390. Can we do that? It'll want 4.8 million. It might be worth it, though. I think we'll do it. And that'll give us 4.9 million that we can upgrade all of our planes from Chicago to Fort Dodge to the 390s. And then once we have that, we can probably move on. Oh, I thought I had enough. Let's do that again. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so then if we click on that, Chicago, what do we have for a bus line? We could maybe upgrade these. No, we can't actually. Let's add one more bus. Oh, we added 2, I guess. Chicago itself. No, Milwaukee has... Does it have... Or was it Sheboygan? Was it Green Bay? No, I guess I didn't have one. Okay. So Chicago... The Detroit is still struggling a little bit. Maybe we'll leave that. Chicago to Toronto is... I mean, they're making money. They're making lots of money. It's just they can't keep up. I don't know if I need an 829 Clipper maybe, but that's 32 million. So that's quite the jump up. If I go with the transfer, I could do a 535, but it needs 14 million. I think I'll go with the 390. And then eventually we'll have to maybe sell a few of them and bump them up to 535s or even a Clipper. There we go. Grand Rapids, what does it need? Anything special? No, it's looking okay, honestly. Nashville wants to go to Ottawa. Nashville to Ottawa, right there. We could go a 390 on that. slow this down a bit. Nashville, anywhere else they want to get to besides Chicago, Ottawa, Hamilton? Well, they do want to get to Hamilton. Add city, let's see, Hamilton, right there. So we could do another 390. Now, Greenville itself, it's doing good. I'd say no problems with Greenville. Atlanta, we do have a hub there. It's also doing good. Okay, was it Jacksonville where we had our hub? Jacksonville needs to get to Nashville. So let's go Jacksonville to Nashville, 805. We could do a Nimbus. You know what? Let's speed this up a little bit. And maybe we'll go a 340. Perfect. So that gives us 110 buses and 72 planes and 7 ships. Only one of our ships is making money, so that's kind of a drag. I wouldn't say that's great at the moment. There we go. Vern Trust in the Bahamas. Cities have grown. Destinations have changed. New events started. So Chicago, indirect traffic. Chicago to Toronto. I think we already clicked on this and it was just simply really bad, eh? I got 390s all the way around. Like, what more could I do? I could go with a 535, but that's going to cost 12 million. And that will give me 40 passengers, 31 million. Probably if I go with losses, but I'm going to have to be patient and wait till I get enough money, I guess. But maybe that's the way to go. I could keep going with 390s, but I mean, eventually they're going to max out, right? There's just not enough capacity. Look at the money they're making, like 500, 700,000. Like, they're making good money. There's one that's 200, but it's a matter of just getting the capacity out there. All right, so maybe that'll help and maybe it won't. So we need a hub in St. Cloud still. So they're really not going to let go of that St. Cloud thing. So Toronto is now at 45. Is it going up or is it going down? What if we tried to upgrade one of these? Wouldn't it cost just a little bit less if we did the 535? Be 8 million. Okay, so now we have 2 of them. They're 535. So maybe, just maybe that'll help. Nashville again. A little busy going to Ottawa. Also a little busy going to Toronto. We could put another 390 maybe. Greenville. Going to Virginia Beach is a little busy at the moment. Maybe a 390. We could upgrade the 230s to possibly 390s. 230, like it's quick and dirty, like to get something for the beginning, but after a while you got to upgrade it. So there we go. Put that down. Now Atlanta, this is the one that has the hub manager, right? Yeah, it is. So see, they're doing pretty good. So definitely that hub manager is doing okay. Now Jacksonville has a hub. It wants to go to Nashville. Let's see, Jacksonville to Nashville, which I thought I had done. Maybe I did not. Okay, so 340 Express. Yeah, we'll put that down. So there we are. We just flipped over another month. Cities have grown. Destination changed. New event started. Potential for upgrade. Okay, so this bus can upgrade, no problem. Can we go a forker? Let's just do it. Let's go for the forker. And let's go that one on the forker. Let's go this one. And let's go this one. Okay, awesome. More connections to St. Louis. So they want Grand Rapids, Lafayette, and Berlin. Now, Berlin's pretty far away, so let's So St. Louis, right there to Lafayette is, I think even that's decent distance away. So let's go with the 340. Okay, so St. Louis also wants to go to, let's say, Grand Rapids. Probably way better than Berlin. To Grand Rapids, 615. Forker, if we did that, oh, that's almost 8 hours. That's too long. Okay, we'll go with 390. How about that? Build a hub in Camagüey. And this is, okay, it's in Havana. All right, we'll do that. We'll put a hub in there. Now, Camagüey wants to go to Santiago del Cuba. Okay, and I think we'll do that by bus. Let's just go right with the forker. There we go. Now, Camagüey wants to go to Cape Haitian. Okay, that's going to be a flight situation. Cape Haitian. Let's see. Let's go with the 390 on that, and we'll just let our money accumulate. There we go. And then, Camagüey also wants to go to NASA. That NASA will be... It could be a boat situation, but honestly, I don't think Camagüey actually can do boats. I think it's too inland. So we'll put down our plane there. Now NASA, does it have anything new? It wants to go to Camagüey, which we just lined up. Key West. It's struggling to go to Key West. Let's see. Buy a vehicle. We could go the Silver Ripple. Let's give a 739. We could keep going with the water taxi. Petit Voyager, maybe. 165. So really, the little Explorer actually makes more money. Let's do that. Let's put 4 down. And see where we end up. So Miami is one to go to West Palm Beach. It's quite busy. Maybe we can upgrade that guy to a forker. Can we do it? No, we can't. A Gannett, possibly. Can we buy another vehicle? A Gannett? Yes, we can. Right, so we have our connections to St. Louis upgraded. We have our hub in Camagüey. Santiago del Cuba has a path. Cap Haitien has a path. And NASA has a path. So all we can do is basically just wait and see what happens. We could do another 390 there, let's say. Jacksonville. It's struggling going to Tampa. It's probably time to get some more vehicles. We'll just buy 2 more. See if that makes a difference. Anywhere else they're having a hard time getting to? Greenville. They're really struggling getting to Greenville. All right, let's do this thing. So we could go the 390 and another 390. Does that make much of a difference as far as the people kicking around? It was at 120. Let's see if it drops any. Not really, eh? Like the waiting's not dropping. How much we've served is dropping, which is not good. Let's get over here. Maybe we can upgrade this 340 Express. If we upgrade it to the 535, it's going to cost 10 million. Okay, let's do it. Okay, that dropped a little bit. It dropped a little bit. I'll give it that. That's potentially good. So we got it. We should get our bonus here. Should get that bonus, and the upgrading was just like a whatever. So we'll see what happens here. All right, we're up to 5.7 million. Okay, so we did a little bit of efficiency stuff there. We didn't add a ton of hubs, just a couple, one in the Bahamas and one down in Cuba. If you like that video, like, comment, subscribe. Come back and watch another great video of Ike and Me Gaming.